Tiffany Kelly is the founder of Beyond Bamboo, Phoenix Rising Global, co-founder of RoundTable Global, and an author and speaker. She's spent the last 20 years working and living around the world, connecting businesses and communities through award-winning people and organisational development initiatives. Driven by the Roundtable 3 global goals of educational innovation, environmental rejuvenation and empowerment for all, her latest offering encompasses each component and lends support to people to be the change that they wish to see in the world. Hello, Tiffany.
Hi, Tanith. Lovely to see you again. Thank you for having me back.
Oh, it's wonderful to see you again. And I always know there's so much more news that you will have that we have to get you back regularly so we can keep up with you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's dive straight in, shall we? Tiffany, we've obviously spoken to you before about the individual companies that you founded, which mentioned above. But I think what we want to know from you this time is where does your passion and drive come from?
So yeah, I've been asked that quite a lot recently because I've been doing various different interviews for some of the businesses that I run, and I think I was born with it. I know that sounds like quite an interesting thing to say, but I can remember being as soon as I learned language and I learned how to speak. My poor parents, and I was like, I'm vegetarian and cruelty to animals, and all the way through my school years, my projects were about sustainability, and I felt very much like I wanted to fix the things that weren't fair in the world. I've always been very passionate about parity and inclusivity, and my mum was often saying things about starving people in different countries, and so it was very much, I was very, very aware of the stuff that was happening in the world. And when I was a teenager, I signed up to become a freelance journalist for the Gloucestershire Echo, and there was a section called Buzz, and it was basically run by young people, and I picked gnarly topics like football hooliganism and smoking cannabis and things like that, which I thought were topics that should be discussed and that we as young people should have an influence on. And so, yeah, I suppose it's just been this kind of burning thing that I feel like I want to focus my energy on all the stuff that I want to see in the world. And I think that there's so much finger pointing and blame, and people who are out there who are spending their time focused on what they don't want to see but not doing anything about it. And I've always been somebody who is an activist in the sense that I take action, and if I don't like what's going on here, then I'm going to do something about it. And for me, it's about creating a solution that creates a inspirational, motivational positivity that people can join on to and work towards. And so I suppose that's been what's burning inside me. And then I also took the decision when I sort of got to the age when I was thinking about this, to not have children, because I think that one of the biggest issues in the world is population. And I think that it's interesting that nobody's really talking about it. There isn't a big global organisation and committee that's sort of saying should we or not. And obviously, it's quite a controversial topic. But for me personally, again, that goes back to taking responsibility and taking action. And it's just, it comes easy and naturally to me because I really want us to live in a different kind of world. And I want us to be able to thrive in future generations too as well.
Beautiful. And it's really interesting you say that, actually, because it's quite the opposite, isn't it? People always ask you, when are you going to have kids? Or how many kids you're going to have. So interesting to change the narrative that are you going to have children? Because it does seem like a lot more people are making that as a decision, which again, something's got to change. And I know that you're trying to change everything. So that's really exciting. And speaking of trying to change everything, we mentioned Beyond Bamboo, we mentioned Phoenix Rising, Roundtable Global, the book that you've written, all of the various things that you've done. But the three offerings particularly above are very, very different in terms of what they deliver. I think it would be really great if you could just kind of explain how they fit together and also why you think that they are really needed.
Okay, so first of all, I wish I could say that I strategically sat down one day and said, I'm going to create this ecosystem of organisations that all support each other. But really, very much, I'm somebody who leads very much in feminine flow, other than when I need to be in my masculine. And they have really evolved based on. So I create something and I think, oh, it'd be really great if, and then nobody else is doing it. So I think, okay, well, I'm going to then do that. And that's kind of how they've grown. So if you think about them first of all, the overarching desire is to deliver these 3 global goals, empowerment, education, and environmental rejuvenation. And that is a red thread that runs through absolutely everything I do. And I think for us to be able to achieve those 3 global goals, we need to do a number of things. And the first one is mindset change, mass mindset change. And so for me, RoundTable Global, which is my training company, delivers in 30 plus countries every year. And we deliver programs to corporates, to governments, to young people, to young professionals. And for me, it's all about changing the mindset away from believing that we're living in a world where we are disempowered and that we can't do anything about it. So it's about taking responsibility, getting people to be accountable, and doing that through self-awareness, honesty, authenticity, and also getting people to stop thinking about gender and instead think about masculine and feminine energy and what they want to do. And I suppose over and above all of that, inspiring them to know that they can do something to make a difference. And if you think about under RoundTable, we've also got the Legacy Project, which runs the Global Youth Awards. That is providing a platform for and supporting and recognising and celebrating young people that are delivering the 3 global goals. So everything there is all set to make that change happen, to help people to understand that they can get involved and make a difference. And if every single person thought differently and was more empowered, then the world would be a different place. So that's how RoundTable started. And it's about unlocking human potential. It's about helping people to find their passion and purpose and to step into it knowing that they can. So that's there. And then I was like, well, actually a lot of our participants would say to me, I'm really worried that when I finish this program, I'm going to go back to business as normal, or I'm going to go slip into my old habits, or how do I spend more time with you and your ecosystem? And so I was like, well, we need to create a community for these people, and especially because we're running programs all over the world, like where can they all come together in a way that is supported, that is collaborative, that it only encourages them to focus on the things that they can change, and there's none of that focusing on blaming this person, or we can't do that. It's really focused on that. And so Phoenix Rising was born. Phoenix Rising is I suppose an alternative to LinkedIn, in that it's not about me and my career and how far up the ladder I am and selling to other people, and I get spams all the time at the moment from those types of platforms. It's about creating something that's warm, that's nurturing, where we can make people together and say, you're doing this great project here in Nigeria, you're doing it in Buenos Aires, wherever it might be, and we say, we'll come together and let's share resources. And it's meant to be a space of real inspiration. And in addition to that, the main focus of Phoenix Rising is getting this balance of masculine and feminine right, in the sense of bringing more collaboration and nurturing and empowerment to the world. So you've got the Mindset Change Roundtable and Legacy Project, you've got the community, which is Phoenix Rising. And then it's like, well, okay, so if we change our mindset, if we've got a community and we create great projects, what's the point if we don't have a habitat to live in anymore? And we know that at the apex of the ecosystem, we're having a huge detrimental impact on our planet. And everybody's talking about sustainability, but to sustain means to do no more harm. And actually, I firmly believe that we have to restore and rejuvenate right now if future generations are going to thrive. And Beyond Bamboo really was born out of my frustration as a vegetarian about needing to buy stuff that's either not wanting to buy new or wanting to buy stuff that I knew had been vetted, sustainable, ethical, animal cruelty free, and all in one place with hardly any packaging and all that kind of stuff. And so, Beyond Bamboo was really born out of my desire to be involved in an organisation where I could be a conscious consumer, but also could influence businesses to be more conscious and provide a platform for people that are either using amazing sustainable new innovations in terms of their products, but also are refurbing, recycling, using pre-loved products and bringing it out to the mass market. So really saying, regardless of where you are at in your journey in terms of your environmental impact, we're going to make it super easy for you to switch from Amazon or Etsy or whoever it might be and come to us, because we've got a rating system. We've accredited and vetted all of our suppliers and our sellers. So you got the mindset, you got the community, and then you got let's restore and rejuvenate our planet so future generations can survive. And it's funny because all of them weave into each other, and it's almost become like this amazing group where people go, okay, well, we're kind of doing everything here. So if you come and be part of that, then you get access to all of it, and you get to feel good about what you're doing because you know that it's being really supported in a way that comes from a desire to make change happen for everybody.
Beautiful. It really is a one-stop shop in terms of completely changing your life. And obviously you can see the banner behind me, the Global Youth Awards, is something I'm very, very passionate about, because if we can get the young people on board, then they will love that change and love the network that's there as well. You're one of the most passionate people I know when it comes to creating balance. And you mentioned feminine and masculine energy just then. You talk a lot about the need to bring more feminine energy to the world. What does that mean to those that don't understand? Because I know a lot of people think it's man and woman. And so what does it mean to you and why?
Yeah, okay, so first of all, we officially launched globally Phoenix Rising 2 weeks ago. And we launched in our virtual clubhouse, which is in addition to our sort of LinkedIn platform, if you like. And we had leaders and influencers from 29 countries joining us. And that demonstrates to me that now there is this huge, I suppose, like an uprising or a swathe of people that really understand this need for feminine leadership. And I think that, one of my main missions in life is to help people to bring balance into feminine and masculine. And I've worked a lot in female empowerment, and I think we need to change the narrative and make sure that people understand that Phoenix Rising and feminine leadership empowerment isn't about women, it's about everyone. It's a humankind issue, and that the feminine doesn't belong to female and the masculine doesn't belong to male, but gender stereotyping has kind of made it that way. And for me, the masculine is about self, and it's an energy that's focused on what you need for you, which is really important, right? I need to know that I can afford to put meals on the table and that I'm warm and I've got a roof over my head and all those things. And the feminine is about other, so it's everything to do with community, collaboration, creating ideas and making decisions that are for the global good as opposed to just self. And I don't think that we need to swing totally into feminine leadership, because obviously then we wouldn't have what we need for us. I think it's about finding that balance so that we're inclusive, we're nurturing, we're supportive. And it's this whole concept, I suppose, of supportive competition rather than competition. So competition is I win so you lose, which is very masculine, and supportive competition is I win so I raise the bar, so you want to raise the bar, so I raise the bar. And it's about bringing everybody up together on a level and making our ecosystem different for all of us. So I think if there's one thing that we could change right now from a leadership and decision-making perspective, it would be to bring more of that feminine in there. And also for men. So, I work with a lot of men who really are suffering from stress, anxiety, depression. Even the rates of suicide, especially during the pandemic, have really, really increased. And a lot of that is because men are expected to be in their masculine, which means don't show vulnerability, which means, not being able to effectively communicate how they're feeling. And I think that bringing more femininity into leadership and organizational culture will mean that everybody can be more self-aware, more honest, more authentic. And then you'll naturally get much more balance in the gender side of things, because it will be a culture that is appealing to anybody, regardless of what their gender is, their ethnicity, or other labels as well.
And really interesting, and especially at the moment with everything that's been going on in the world, to allow people to be vulnerable is really important at the moment. And that's really interesting. So thinking about that, with that in mind, what do you think is the biggest change that we as human beings can make in the world, so that we can turn it into a place that thrives instead of survives?
Well, I'm going to underpin it with the balance in terms of feminine and masculine, because obviously with that comes so much. And it's interesting because I've had this debate many times with many people about, if you could instill one thing in human beings, what would it be? And there's this whole conversation about, well, is it love? But then what does love mean? And sometimes you can do something with love which actually isn't beneficial to the person that you're doing it for, right? Because of your own morals or your religious reasons, whatever it might be. And so where I've come to, and I really believe this, is that it comes from kindness, and that if we could instill in every single human being the desire to be kind, not at the detriment of self, right, but the desire to be kind in everything that we're doing, and as much as possible, I think that would make a huge difference. And that kindness comes from the feminine leadership, because it's about other, right? And as soon as you embrace the desire to want to be collaborative, to want to be supportive, and all of those types of things, you're naturally going to be kinder, because you're going to be thinking about other people as well as yourself. And I'm not saying that the word selfish is a bad word, because I think we all have to be to some extent, especially people who are too much in their feminine. You know, we need to prioritize ourselves as well. But that balance of femininity and understanding that we need to focus on other people in community will naturally bring about kindness. And the more kind we are, the more aware we are, and the more responsibility we're taking, the better this planet's going to be for future people.
Beautiful. And really interestingly, that was the word that was in my mind just before you said it, because I completely agree with you. Completely agree. It underpins everything else completely, doesn't it? You know, if you're kind, then that's it. And it's like you said, you know, love and other descriptives can be used for other purposes, and doesn't work for everybody. So yeah, that's incredible. If the world was kinder, it would be a different world for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of the world, what's next for you in the world, and what's your expectation for growth with the projects that you're currently working on them?
So, bearing in mind that I've been on this journey, so RoundTable, I first started in 2015 with my business partner Dennis Murphy, but really it went way back before then, because Legacy Project I started in 2010 and the Global Youth Awards in 2012. So it feels like it's been a long time of really growing and nurturing these projects and seeing how they all fit together and growing the support and the network that we have. And now all of a sudden this year, it feels like all of them have reached their perfect place of coming into symbiosis with each other. And you know, like I said, we launched Phoenix Rising globally 2 weeks ago. Beyond Bamboo, we've just got our first big clients from a B2B perspective. We're launching a Conscious Christmas campaign. The Global Youth Awards is truly global this year. We're doing 1 virtual awards, and so it just feels like, timing wise, we've had to get to where we've got to. It's almost like as well, people had to go through what they've gone through with lockdown and the pandemic to understand just how important it is for us to connect and communicate and collaborate. And it's almost like, I suppose we've hit on some zeitgeist there in terms of community and compassion and conscious consumerism and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm really excited to see what happens in the next 6 months, because I can just see all of those projects suddenly catapulting out into the world, and in a way that is so supported that we have the ability to scale and grow and replicate in countries all over the world. And of course, we have got a huge network in, you know, over 60 different countries. So we have, as soon as we start to take it out and it starts to roll, I think it's going to be like pushing the snowball over the hill and running as fast as we can to catch it. But yeah, I'm really, really excited. I'm so grateful to all of the people that have supported us on our journey to date. And I'm also so grateful to the people that are now jumping in and investing in Beyond Bamboo and other things as well. And I think that, you know, watch out in terms of what we can do next, because now that it's all coming into its maturity and really flourishing, I think that there's no end to what we could do and how much difference we can make in the world. And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's incredible. And you know, Beyond Bamboo just seems to keep going from strength to strength, which is really exciting, along with everything else. So really excited to see what comes next there. Obviously, we're going to share the links for all of the different projects, but I guess we could also share your email just in case anyone wants to get in touch about involvement or investment in any of the projects that you're working on, because jump aboard whilst things are going really well. Thanks so much for chatting to us today, and I will catch up with you again soon for the next round of what's going on for Tiffany.
Thanks so much, Tanith. Really appreciate it.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bye.